He was the inventor of the modern surfboard and small sailboats that could launch from a sandy beach. His name has become synonymous with that subculture of surfers and flip-flops and paddleboarders who want to know what it feels like to glide gracefully and boldly across an ocean surface. Hobie Alter may have passed away on March 29, 2014 from cancer, but his legacy will continue to define a billion-dollar industry that he helped to create. We're here with Jeff Alter, Hobie's youngest son and president of Hobie Designs here in San Juan Capistrano. Jeff runs the company's surfboard manufacturing and licensing divisions. And Jeff, thanks for having us here.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming and visiting our little showroom here.
I love it here, by the way. So for those who may not know your father, Hobie Alter, and I know it's hard to believe he's such an iconic figure in the surf industry, can you give us sort of a thumbnail sketch of who he was and what he accomplished?
Yeah, I can give it a shot. He was, in 1950, he got into surfing, and he would come out from Ontario to Laguna Beach and to their beach house. And he just got into surfing, or was actually interested in surfing, and decided then there wasn't a lot of surfboard manufacturers. So he saw a couple guys that had boards and tried to figure out how to build his own because he couldn't afford to buy one, and they weren't really readily available. And he talked to a guy, Walter Hoffman, got him some balsa wood, sort of taught him what to do, and built a surfboard. And when he completed the board, somebody wanted to buy it.
Wow, the
So,
first board.
The first board.
That's amazing.
So he then, built another one, and so on and so on, and it just turned into a surfboard building business in Laguna Beach. He had a shop in his garage, right? The house is still there in Laguna Beach, and he built balsa wood surfboards, and that was sort of the start of his brand and his business. And he, went on to get involved with skateboards, and they did the Hobie Cat in 1968. He kind of moved on from still doing surfboards, but we did foam and fiberglass surfboards, and then into the Hobie Cat, and now basically we do a whole range of water sports products that are kind of a high quality on the water. We've built our brand and our lifestyle around sort of fun water products.
We talked before about your father being this sort of genius manufacturer, this genius engineer, but yet it was sort of intuitive for him to design things, correct?
Yeah, he's just kind of a build a better mousetrap kind of guy. I mean, he did a lot of other products that you've never seen, whether it was a golf club or stuff that he did for himself or personally. But he could look at anything and want to redesign it. He had a lot of the products that came about were sort of his desire. He thought it'd be fun, and it wasn't a big market research to see if it would sell or not. It was more about, I think this would be a good product, and all of a sudden people would follow and want to buy the product, and that's kind of the way we still move forward. We kind of, whether it's SUP or whatever it is, we kind of keep trying to better what's already out there.
The Hobie brand sort of remains a constant symbol of the surf industry even to this day. What do you feel that says about your father and his contributions to the surf industry?
I think it's amazing. I mean, it's he started back in 1950 and was very involved in developing the foam and fiberglass that our current boards are made out of today. From top of the state-of-the-art surfboards are still made the same way that he developed in the late 50s. So it's fun, it's exciting, it's a kind of a little niche-y sport, but it's a big sport, but it's still a very creative, handmade, handcrafted sport, and most of the products made here in USA and handcrafted still, so it's pretty cool.
Hobie was inducted into the National Sailing Hall of Fame in 2011. He was inducted with such individuals as Dennis Conner, who won 4 America's Cup, and Ted Turner. What was your dad's reaction to being inducted into the Hall of Fame with these individuals?
I think he was one of the more proud moments. The sailing world, he had a huge contribution to the sailing world, but he did it in more of a low-key, small way with little boats, and the Dennis Connors of the world and the Ted Turners are big money, big boats, big yacht clubby type things, and he kind of did it more down the regular guy approach. So for them to recognize him and induct him into that, it was really great for him.
Your dad was 80 years old when he died of cancer in March of 2014, and there was this huge memorial out at Dana Point. Can you describe a little bit about that experience?
It was pretty incredible. We had two memorials, one in the Aliso Canyon and one in Dana Point, and we didn't really plan it to be any kind of a big public event. We kind of kept it pretty quiet and just let it happen, and thousands of people showed up and paddled out, and people came in boats and kayaks and power boats, and it wasn't just a surf paddle out. It was pretty spectacular.
Thousands of people around the world, yes?
Yeah, people came from all walks of life. It was, and again, we did it rather quickly. We didn't really try to make it a big event because that's not really what we wanted to do, but we wanted those that wanted to come to have the ability to come, and they did.
I think we talked about a story where you came out to Dana Point Harbor on a boat, correct?
Yeah, well, we took a sister ship called Mantis, that is a sister ship of a 60-foot catamaran that my dad built, that he has, and we took that to spread his ashes off of Laguna. And on the way back, it was pretty spectacular because we got into a pod of dolphins, and it was they were on all sides of the boat and followed us almost all the way back. And as we came around the corner of Dana Point, we came across the paddle out, which was sort of the plan, and that kind of it was an amazing event.
When you saw the reaction and the thousands of people who showed up to pay tribute to your father, what sort of emotional reaction did you have at that moment?
It was all pretty emotional, but to me it was amazing how many people he touched and how he went through his whole career. Honestly, I don't think he made an enemy, and he was a very honorable person. I think that was the biggest point for me. We
talked about this as well, that when I researched for this interview, I didn't find a negative word out there about your father, and I thought perhaps that was just sort of a PR manufacturing by the company, but in reality it was just the opposite. He was just a nice guy.
My sister made a comment, when someone had asked somewhere in the book or something, when did she know my father was famous? And it was when she was young and he did autographs. Well, this is sort of like, when did you know he was such an honorable person? And it happened kind of at that moment. It was just the outpouring, what people said, the letters written. It was pretty evident that he had managed to pull it off and be a good person his whole life.
The book Hobie, Master of Water, Wind, and Waves. Though I know your dad was sort of ill during the writing of this process and the editing of this process, he did get a chance to see the final version, yes?
Yes, he did. It was great that we were able to get it done, and he got a chance to review it, and he was very critical about it to make sure it was all accurate.
Yeah, and so my question is, he was sort of a humble man. What was his reaction to having an entire book written about his life and his contributions to the surf industry?
We wanted to do it as a group, and we've been talking about it for a long time, and there's a lot of different, through conversations, the story changes about every other time you talk to somebody. I lived in Hawaii, which we didn't, So, it was good to kind of get it all down to, into a book, and to have him be able to assist with the stories. And unfortunately, we started a little bit late, so he was sick then, so it was a little tough. But it was really important to him that it was as accurate as possible. And the good news is it's been out for a while now, and we haven't really heard anyone too much say that there's any inaccuracies in it.
In the end, what sort of legacy do you think your father leaves behind?
It's probably the surf lifestyle that we all get to enjoy now, from everyone, the Quicksilvers, the Billabongs, there's been a whole lifestyle built and businesses built around surfing and water sports, and back when he did all that, it didn't really exist. So I guess it's probably the surf lifestyle is probably and the amount of he touched a lot of people around the world via surfing or sailing.
When he started manufacturing surfboards, there was no industry there, really, right? and it has become a billion-dollar industry.
Yeah, there was nothing or very little there, if anything at all, and probably they just thought they were a bunch of crazy surfers, but yeah, it's become an industry, it's become a lifestyle, we all live it right here in our own, from you go to the beaches, and that whole lifestyle was certainly driven with a lot of the stuff that he did.
Jeff, thanks again. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm Scott Hayes, and that wraps it up for this edition of OC Caravan. Be sure to look us up online and to like us on Facebook.